Marvel is on fire, Disney is in shambles, and everyone has been fired from the Daredevil reboot. Was that hyperbolic enough? I think it was. I think that was a good intro, maybe a little bit over the top. What's up everyone, Eric here, and in today's video, we're gonna catch up on what's happening with this Daredevil reboot. We have some pretty big news about that, and changes that Marvel and Disney are gonna be making to series in the Marvel universe on Disney Plus moving forward, which I think are actually good. I think actually all this news is good. And I know people on YouTube, you know, the usual suspects are trying to spin this as some massive L for Marvel and Disney and Daredevil, but I think this is all good news. So let's kind of talk about what's actually happening. So the news came out that Disney has decided to reboot the reboot. So the Daredevil series that was coming out on Disney Plus, that is a soft reboot of the Netflix series, which is goated, absolutely goated. One of my favorite superhero shows of all time, definitely one of the best Marvel superhero shows. They've decided to reboot the series, firing all the writers, directors. I think that was it. I think those were the only people who were fired. Most of the cast is sticking around, I'm assuming. But they fired the writers and directors because they took a look at what they had. I think the rumor was like 4 episodes of it. And they decided that it wasn't what they wanted. It didn't feel authentic to the character of Daredevil. And look, this is a really good thing. This is amazing that they looked at this and decided that it wasn't working. Because if the show were released and it ends up being bad, because look, they have huge shoes to fill with Daredevil. If it would have came out and it was bad, they would have been lambasted for not doing quality control. So this is what quality control looks like. So they decided to go in and sort of reboot everything and start from scratch. So they have to get new writers, new directors, and apparently they're making changes to all of their shows as well that will affect, I'm assuming, this Daredevil series as it comes out. Because like some of the rumors are that Daredevil doesn't actually show up in costume until like the 4th or 5th episode, which I believe would have been tragic. I think that first episode, you need to see him in his costume doing stuff because that's what people are tuning in for. Coming in that first week, you're going to have like, what, 4 weeks of him not being Daredevil in the Daredevil show? That just doesn't work in any way, shape, or form. I love Matt Murdock as a lawyer, but that would have been awful. So I'm glad they're changing that and moving forward with that, these new changes to the show. And so I'm guessing we're going to see some drastic shifts. Some of the rumors were the series would have covered Matt Murdock a year after he stopped being Daredevil. So we would have been catching up with him after he sort of threw in the costume and didn't want to be this character anymore, which no one wants to see that. As fans, I don't think we want to see that. That's not an exciting thing. You can spend a minute on it, but honestly, coming back after such a long break from Netflix, I don't think fans necessarily want that storyline. So I'm glad if that was the rumor and that was what they were actually doing, but they decided not to do that. The other rumor that I think would have been okay was Kingpin becoming mayor, sort of taking over and running things, because we saw him come back on Disney Plus already, and we've seen Daredevil come back. So these characters have already been sort of introduced into the world, but he comes back as the mayor, but he's after vigilantes. So people like Punisher, Daredevil, any like street level character that is a superhero fighting crime, he would have been against, which is on brand for Kingpin. That part I don't have a problem with. And if anything, I kind of hope they continue with that storyline in the series. I think that one would be quite interesting to see Vincent in that position as the mayor doing those things to Daredevil and some of the characters. I think that actually would have worked. So if they're going to reboot this reboot, I think they could keep that. Another rumor, I believe, and I think this is still a rumor, is that it was going to be more of like a legal procedural than an actual superhero show. And coming off the heels of She-Hulk, I don't know if that's what people want. Maybe they do. Let me know in the comments. Is that what you want? But I don't know if people would have wanted to see that on a Daredevil series. I think, again, it would have felt like a cost-cutting measure. And I don't know if people would have appreciated it, to be completely honest. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if that's what you wanted to see. I definitely did not want to see something like that. It also seems that Marvel and Disney are moving in a different direction in terms of how they're going to be making shows in the future. I think this is also a great change. And a lot of people would say they should have been doing this to begin with. I'm not going to disagree with that. But what they're going to do is they're going to expand the way the writing rooms work with the shows. So hopefully that means, according to what I'm seeing, is more episodes per season, more writers involved with making the show, an actual series Bible, which thank goodness that is something that I'm really glad to see. Apparently a true and proper showrunner, someone who is really putting together these seasons and stories that fit within the series of the show that doesn't necessarily have to tie into the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I think is really good. I don't think everything has to tie into that universe. One of the things I loved about the Netflix shows were they referenced the larger cinematic universe, but the stories still felt very personal and connected to the world that they existed in. So if Daredevil wanted to show up in a movie, he could, but it doesn't mean that his entire series had to revolve around setting something up in the movies. And that's kind of what I had hoped the Disney Plus shows would be. Some of them have been like that, but a lot of them felt like setups for bigger things. And I think giving us more episodes per season, maybe actually giving us some bottle episodes that are fun instead of tying into that one storyline, whatever it is they're setting up, might be a good thing. And I think if a story, like if you want to tell a story that feels like you can only do it in 5 or 6 episodes, just make it a movie, chop it up, make it a movie, make it a special, put it on like, you know, the Werewolf by Night or the Guardians of the Galaxy special. If you can do something within like an hour time frame, I think that would work. But I think we definitely need more cohesive things to make all of this work. So I'm happy about all the changes that are being made over at Disney and Marvel. I think all of this is a good thing. Don't believe the sky is falling. Screw all those channels that are saying that. This all sounds to me like they've been paying attention to what's going on and they have decided they're going to do something about it. And I, for one, am really happy and excited about that. So let me know what you think about this news down in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What do you think is actually happening with Marvel and Disney? And how do you feel about this Daredevil reboot and everyone being fired? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching the channel. I'll see everybody in the next video. Bye.